Football! What a game! What passion! The thrills, the heartbreak, and everything in between. However, on rare occasions, this beautiful game can become one of horror and agony. In many cases, the recipient of these fouls never fully recover. I must at this point warn you that what you are about to see is not for the faint-hearted. Here are the 10 worst fouls in football history. Number 10. Nigel de Jong on Xabi Alonso, 2010. In this highly reputed match and one of such importance, an all-European final in the 19th edition of the FIFA World Cup in South Africa. As expected, tension was at a fever pitch and the match itself was a very cagey affair, with both teams weary of one another's attacking prowess. It was obvious that pressure was on both sides to triumph in this top-of-the-world clash, as evidenced by the initial aggressive exchanges. Within the first 25 minutes, the ref had brandished 4 yellow cards, 2 apiece to either side, with de Jong's challenge making it the 5th booking of the night. Paul Fletcher of BBC Sport said these disruptions disturbed the rhythm of the match, then added that several crude challenges left him, the referee, with little option. One thing though, the malevolent midfielder's kung fu-like kick is one better suited for the UFC. Such atrocious challenges have no place here. The Dutchman should have been red-carded, but was rather fortunate to get away with a caution. All thanks to referee Howard Webb's leniency, and perhaps as to not throw the tie into a one-way freight train affair. Luckily, Alonso was unscathed and continued the match. Number 9. Lee Boyer on Gerardo, Leeds vs Malaga, 2002. The temperamental Englishman was at it once more in the UEFA Cup tie. Boyer had cleared Gerardo off his feet moments after the latter had passed the ball to a teammate. It was a needless and vicious tackle. He compounded this further by stamping on the head of the player who lay on the floor. The ref caught the first offence but missed the second, and Lee escaped with a yellow card. The UEFA Disciplinary Committee, upon reviewing the video evidence in what is tagged an act of assault and particularly dangerous, dished out a 6-match ban on the midfielder. Number 8. Paul Gascoigne on Gary Charles, 1991. Just watching this, one is left to wonder what exactly Paul's intent was. With the ball beyond him, this was a rather rash and mistimed challenge from the virtuoso midfielder. Strangely enough, it was the Tottenham player who was left with a ruptured cruciate ligament, whereas Charles merely hobbled away. Forest did score from the resulting free kick, but no card was given to Gaza. Number 7. Ben Thatcher on Pedro Mendes, Manchester City vs Portsmouth, 2006. The serial and villainous Thatcher was at it again. This time, he notoriously elbowed Mendes in the face as the ball ran out harmlessly for a throw-in. The Portsmouth player was KO'd and needed to be placed on oxygen pitchside. Fortunately, the player was discharged from the hospital the following day under medical observation. The rogue left-back was fined 6 weeks' wages by his club and handed a 6-match ban by the FA, with a clause to issue an additional 15 should the incident repeat itself. Truth is, he got off lightly. Number 6. Harald Schumacher on Patrick Battiston, West Germany vs France, 1982. On this hot night in what has been dubbed the Night of Seville was this semi-final fixture of the 1982 World Cup played. With the scoreline level at 1-1, Battiston was introduced into the fray. Unfortunately, his appearance would only last a mere 10 minutes. Having been liberated by a delightsome Michel Platini pass, the French defender found himself 1-on-1 with the goalie. As Patrick closed down on the ball, the West German keeper had other ideas. Knowing well that the ball was beyond his reach, he lunged into the oncoming player's face with his knee. The result? The Frenchman lost 2 front teeth, had his vertebrae damaged, and was forced off unconscious. Shockingly, no penalty was awarded, nor did the German receive any caution for this horrific tackle. Platini later confessed to thinking that his teammate had died. Such was the gravity of the lunge. Number 5. Ryan Shawcross on Aaron Ramsey, 2010. The context of this match was the run-in to the EPL title, with Arsenal playing their possession-based game and Stoke playing hardball. Shawcross had lost possession and in an attempt to reclaim the ball, slid in. However, in place of the ball, he caught the leg of the young Welshman. In a split second, the Gunners' midfielder's right leg had snapped in a double fracture. The trepidation was palpable as many players who saw the outcome had their heads in hand. The Stoke skipper was sent off in tears and served the mandatory 3-game suspension. Ramsey, on the other hand, spent a whole year on the sidelines. Number 4. Martin Taylor on Eduardo, Birmingham vs Arsenal, 2008. With the game just about started, Taylor flew in just as the Croat striker had released the ball. The tackle came in a second too late. That second made all the difference, as Eduardo suffered a compound fracture and an open ankle dislocation. Eduardo was out for a year, and Martin received his marching orders for his troubles, as well as several death threats. The injury was so disturbing that Sky Sports opted not to show its replay. Number 3. Roy Keane on Alf Inge Haaland, Manchester United vs Manchester City, 2001. In this edition of the Battle of Manchester, the United captain, in a feat of rage and like a vampire out for blood, dealt a life-altering and career-ending blow to Haaland. Apparently, the lead up to this had been from 3.5 seasons earlier, when Haaland, then at Leeds, and Keane had clashed. The latter had ruptured his ligament, and the Norwegian had shouted down at him to get up, negligent that he had really been injured. Anyway, here was Keane's chance to satisfy his bloodlust, and the skipper simply did not let this slide. Keane was sent off, and Haaland was taken off. The damage was done, and Alf Inge's career never remained the same, as he was forced to retire 2 years afterwards. Keane later revealed in his biography that his intent was to retaliate on Haaland's taunt in 1997. Such bestial tendencies have no place in the game, and further penalty was doled out to Roy. Number 2. Andori Goicoechea on Maradona, Barcelona vs Athletic Bilbao, 1983. If you thought you'd seen it all, then this right here is much more horrifying yet. The Butcher of Bilbao, a nickname the Bilbao man earned for his X-rated tackles, dived in and clattered Maradona's left leg. The Argentine forward's ankle broke and his ligament tore. He would not return to action for another year. The Bilbao centre-half received a mere talking to from the referee. Maradona described the tackle as an axe blow and captured this in his autobiography. "I just felt the impact, heard the sound, like a piece of wood cracking, and realised immediately what had happened." Number 1. Brian McClare and Dennis Irwin on David Boost, Manchester United vs Coventry, 1996. This has to be the standout foul, and you will see why in a bit. While scrambling to get the ball out to safety, Brian and Dennis slid in from opposite sides to intercept the ball off an on-rushing Boost. The outcome was inevitable, with Boost's leg mashed like potatoes. So hideous was the sight that some of the players who saw it needed counselling afterwards to alleviate their trauma. In a scene reminiscent of military warfare, David suffered an extensive compound fracture to his right leg, with blood splashed over the penalty area. The leg was only narrowly saved from amputation after 22 operations that spanned over 2 years and saw him lose a quarter of his muscle mass in the affected leg. He would never play football again. Did we miss any out? Let us know in the comment section. Remember to subscribe and click the bell button to receive future notifications. See you soon. Thank you.